All right, we're live on YouTube. Let me say this right off the bat. If my internet crashes this week, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But so far it's all good. So, again, it's not bandwidth. We don't have bandwidth issues. We've got 100 megabits per second fiber optic, and that's not the problem. It's just been awful timing. As soon as we've gotten the show started the last couple of weeks, right shortly after we get the show started, the doggone internet has crashed. So anyway, we are live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook, and we've got two folks on Facebook with us. I see the folks are all coming in. There's Poultry as usual. Hey, Jana. Bandana Grandma is here.
Hey.
Palmetto. Tina. Great.
Suburban Hillbilly.
Thanks you guys for joining us. The audience is building. Folks are coming in. Hey, Suburban. Glad you guys can join us. Go ahead, Pat. You were going to say something?
Yeah, mine don't show all the people that you just named on mine.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I can't explain that. I don't want to do this. Remind me tomorrow. Last time, that was another thing happened. Your doggone laptop, even though I told it to install updates tonight, which usually means like at midnight, it suddenly did it. So I said to remind me tomorrow. There's Mother of Many Horses joining us. Hey, Mom. So, if you're just joining us, we've got a small group, 16. The numbers are coming up. Southern Dutchman, 17. Good. People are coming in. So, I'll repeat this again. I don't know what I'm going to do if my internet crashes again right in the middle of this. It hasn't crashed all week since last week.
I'm going to tape him up is what I'm going to do. Tie him down.
Yeah. So, it hadn't crashed all week. Once again, it's not a bandwidth issue. We've got 100 megabits a second up and down, and I usually get anywhere between 80 and 90 when I do a speed test. So it's not that. I keep looking over my shoulder.
Yeah, the light is over there. So
yeah, the router's around the corner, and I keep looking over there thinking it's going to be red. So
hey, Tam.
You know what I didn't get any video of?
What?
Rain.
Oh wow!
I should have got some video of the rain.
Yes.
Because we got some rain, really some good rain.
Yeah.
Was that that was since last week, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Right? Wasn't that? Was that?
Yeah, it was. Because we were talking about how long it had been last week since we had rain, and I think we got rain Monday.
I think that's right. Yeah, and we
Monday
actually got a couple of days of rain, a nice good soaking, and pleasant temperatures. It's almost nippy outside right now. My hands are still cold from being outside. I mean, it's not cold by any stretch, but it's nice.
Yeah.
There's Stephanie. Cousin Stephanie has joined us on Facebook. Hey, Stephanie. But nice mild temperatures anyway.
Yeah.
And I think it was in the 40s.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Last night.
Yeah, it's really, really chilly in the mornings, but daytime warms up to where, I have on this little flannel shirt and it's really okay. So
yeah.
But
what I was going to say was because the temperature has been milder, normally because of the way our property is situated, we're kind of up on a ridge, and so normally we can have a gully washer, and within a couple of days it's dry as a bone. And it's mostly dried out, but there's still moisture in the ground.
Yeah, and we still have a few mud puddles.
Still have a few mud puddles.
Yeah, we still have a few mud puddles, and also it really it's so funny. The next day after the rain, the grass started kind of greening up, so because it's still, of course, it's not freezing here. Palmetto said that he's been getting rain all day today, so that's great. That's a huge blessing.
Yeah. Oh.
So, and anyway,
and it's been overcast today.
Yeah, it really has felt like rain today, and I really hadn't checked it. I see Sandra. Hey, Sandra. One thing that the rain has helped produce is when we, my parsley has gone to seed, and dill has gone to seed a little bit. Of course, I try and collect my dill seed, but you can't get it all, and so we have I found some more plants to transplant. We showed that the tomato plants that I found and I transplanted, and so
Yeah, we
I have,
actually. Let's see what you want to. You talking about
the boxes right there.
I think it's right. I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, right there. Show that.
That's this one.
That's it's all
no,
that stuff.
that's it. That's not it. That's the thing at the fence right here. I think this is it. I don't know. We're going to show you several videos, so Patty can just talk through it.
Well, that's our peppers that had really grown up in weeds and everything. I didn't think they were going to produce anything. The weeds have died down, and we still have peppers, so it's real exciting. And our broccoli is doing great. Facebook, we're showing video on here, of course. But anyway, the broccoli's doing really good. It's not heading up yet. And I talked to my friend James Richmond. He's got some broccoli at the same time I did, same varieties and everything. And his is starting to make heads. Mine's not yet, but I expect it to. I went ahead and put a little fertilizer around it yesterday, so I'm hoping that I'll go ahead and get some growth. There's a little bit of garlic mixed in with that in that broccoli bed. So I'll have a little bit of a harvest of garlic. I really want to grow enough garlic to sell at the farmer's market, but I won't have enough this year. So, but let's see, that one that was the ground right there. I was going to say.
I'm going to tell you what that is, but that's okay.
Oh, okay, that's a tomato plant right there.
This is the ones I just took when me and Corey were going out there.
But anyway, go ahead. You can go ahead and switch.
Try this one.
No,
no, this one.
This right here. Tommy's showing you. You see the little plants in the left-hand part of your screen. That's little parsley that I found on the outside of the box because I had a real big parsley plant right there, and it went to seed. And I'm pointing to you right there, showing you where I've dug up the little parsley plants. That's why it's good to start your stuff from seed, where you'll know what it looks like when it's little seedlings. And I just dug them up gently and put them there, and I put mulch around them and watered them. And they're taking really good. I did that yesterday, so they're really looking good. I have another box. I think he's fixing to show it on the film.
Yeah, I was just looking at the video that they're seeing, and it's also in my live preview screen. It's real choppy, and
this is going again. I don't know where. There's the other one that you showed.
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
That's it right there.
But this is another box that I found. There's my green onions. You can see them in the
top part.
Yeah, in the top part. And to the very left is the tomato plants that I had transplanted. Right there you're seeing some dill that I found and two little parsley plants that are right there. Facebook can see how I try and point to the screen.
Yeah.
when nobody can see.
Yeah, YouTube people can't see us. They can see what we're showing.
But those are the tomato plants that I transplanted, and they are just taking off. And the ones in the bucket's not so great. But the green onions that you saw in the background were actually a strain from my pawpaw. My Aunt Rosie still had some growing. You can see them again right there.
It just plays over and over.
And anyway, so she divided her roots, and she gave me some, and I got them planted. So I'm so glad to have some from my pawpaw.
Boy, and they took really well.
They took off. They really did good. So I'm real tickled about that.
Check this out. With the temperatures the way they are, it's November, y'all. And this is a volunteer tomato plant growing up alongside the garden fence.
On the outside of the fence.
On the outside of the fence. And there, see, the CPU has jumped up to like 99%. But look at there.
I have a little green
tomato. Look at there. We got a little green tomato. And quite a few blooms here in November. Facebook folks, if you'll click the link to the YouTube show and go watch this on YouTube, you can see what everybody else is looking at. And so let me bring us back up here and see. Maybe the CPU will calm down a little bit. I don't know why it's showing 99%. Let me make sure I don't have anything else running. I don't have anything else running. So I guess that's just a lot of video to be pushing through, and time for me to look around back over here again.
Yeah,
make sure the light's green. I'm a nervous wreck thinking that the internet's going to crash because it's done so every week for, 2 weeks in a row, I guess.
Yeah, but, 2 weeks in a row. Teresa Dean, hey, by the way, she said that it's talking about how they have a ban on all outside burning. We do too. And we usually burn our feed sacks, and we have a mountain of feed bags in the barn right now.
Yeah,
so
probably,
we're going to have to find something.
I think probably if I stacked them all on top of one another, it'd probably be as tall as me.
Oh, or taller.
I mean, well, it's already taller than me, but they're up on top of that cabinet.
Yeah, but you got some on the side too. It's really crazy. But anyway, we're gonna have to put some out for the garbage, I guess. But
no, we'll figure something out to do with them. I don't know, but I was hopeful. I guess they do those burn bans based on the amount of accumulated rainfall in a certain period of time.
I mean, I wouldn't feel comfortable burning them right now anyway because of the way the kind of paper it is. It just makes a lot of ash and everything. So I wouldn't.
And that's a regulation I can live with. I mean, those guys, those firemen, they know what they're doing, and I don't want to cause anybody else harm trying to burn something on my property, even though it's my property and I ought to be able to do it. I mean, I guess I could see that side, but I don't have a problem with a burn ban. I think it's probably Corey's trying to get your attention over there.
Yeah.
Look, speaking of those tomatoes, is this where you got the other ones too?
Yeah.
Well, Corey and I were walking out toward, and I'll show you in a minute. You remember last week we showed you a big tree, a huge white oak tree that had fallen on the back of the place. And so in the early part of this week, Monday, we spent all day Monday back there cutting it up. And so out in the pasture on the way back, not really pasture, but back behind the barn, just hither and yon, every so often you walk and you say, hey, that looks familiar. And it's a little tomato plant coming up.
It's amazing.
We got these little tomato plants coming up all around, and I don't remember if I got a shot of the one. There's one or two of them. I mean, they're like 8-10 inches tall, and they got blooms on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't see any with blooms.
There it is, right there. See those blooms at the top of it?
Look at that.
So we got these volunteer tomato plants everywhere, and so Patty said she needed to go out there and dig those up, and tell them what you thought about doing with them.
Well, actually, it's been quite a few months ago. Tommy came home from a meeting up at the Capitol telling me about meeting a man that has Old Brook Organics. And we're from Brookhaven, and so obviously he knew that it was near us, and actually he's just a few miles from us through the woods. And so I was so excited. He's got high tunnels, and he grows a lot of ginger and turmeric, and he sells to the Whole Food store up in Jackson, which is about an hour from us. Anyway, so I hadn't met him yet, and we had our farmers market meeting last week, which I'll tell y'all more about that in a minute. But anyway, he actually was there, and so I was real excited to get to meet him and everything. I don't have a high tunnel yet, and I want a high tunnel, but I talked with him about maybe us getting together for the spring and planting some real early tomatoes in his high tunnel, and he's real excited about that because he's not real experienced. He's looking for different ways to make money and everything. With the tomatoes, not real experienced, I don't guess. But anyway, so I think we're going to join forces and do some spring tomatoes. But I had the idea when Tommy and I was talking that I first said, well, I might dig them up and put them in the greenhouse, but my greenhouse needs some work because the dogs have been using it for a dog house. But anyway, so I thought about bringing them over there and planting them there because they're a nice size, and like Tommy said, that one has blooms on it, so maybe we can be eating tomatoes at Christmas.
Yeah,
that would just be awesome. So I'm gonna talk to him and see what he thinks about that. So that would be really cool. But I have to say this: we have a great idea for those feed sacks.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Suburban Hillbilly says they make great liners for hanging baskets, which I really don't have a lot of hanging baskets, but Echoes of an Angel says use them as ground cover to prevent weeds.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
That will be awesome.
That's a great idea.
That's what we're gonna do.
We got tons. I mean, for a while we had all our neighbors saving their newspapers. We don't get the newspaper. And but so
that's perfect.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
So great idea. Thank you very much.
You always help us out.
Somebody asked what zone we're in. I have no idea.
8 maybe.
I don't know. I'm terrible at keeping up with that kind of stuff. She's the gardener.
Seems like there's different maps and stuff for different things. I wish they all use the same number, so that's why I get confused.
Yeah.
like shipping zones and weather zones is all different.
And deer hunting zones and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So
isn't that terrible that we don't know what zone we're in? I don't know. We just operate according to what our weather is. So you know, I mean, you know, and you know, if we don't know if something will grow here, we don't look up a zone. We just call James Richmond or Rebecca at the county.
Or look it up on the internet.
Or look it up on the internet. You know, so sorry about that.
Or maybe we're in 7.
If Jared, I don't know if Jared's joined us, but if Jared jumps in, he's a stat geek. He knows all those statistical things.
Yeah,
he
Jared,
could probably
Jared
tell
knows.
us.
I think he's told us before on here.
Danny and Wanda can tell us, I'm sure, what zone
I
we're
haven't
in.
seen them yet, though.
And if they tell us, we need to like write it down on the refrigerator or something.
Who is that right there?
Where? Texabaman's Country Life.
They asked what made us decide to do our garden in beds instead of regular ground and plowing. Well, we have done both. There's certain things I prefer in the box. I have put bush green beans in a box. I won't do that anymore because I'm scared of snakes and you can't see in there, so I won't do that anymore. I love my tomatoes in a box, peppers in a box. I've done squash before. I won't do that again. It sprawls out too much. But anyway, and then I use traditional rows for you know, corn and green beans, squash, you know, other stuff like that. But we're actually going to try and do the no-till planting. It'll still be in rows and everything. It won't be in a box.
Develop some permanent beds.
Yeah, it will develop permanent beds like that and see how that goes for us. We're really excited about doing that, with doing the layers of leaves and mulch and, you know, different things like that. So it really makes a fine, rich soil.
Patty, check my memory here. Patty is my memory checker because sometimes I don't remember things. Sometimes I misremember things. Sometimes I make up things I think I remember and we don't know where they came from. But if my memory happens to serve me correctly on this, I think that we first were interested in box gardening through what used to be called, I guess it still is called, I don't know if people still do it, square foot gardening. I think that's the first sort of inkling about raised bed gardenings that we heard about and thought about.
Yeah, and I like the idea of, you know, having your soil, a nice, deep, rich soil, and then being able to plant things close together, get things in a smaller space, and then what I like about it is that the shadows of your plants crowd out the weeds. Right. And so it's not near, you've got to keep the weeds out at first, but we are going to do more mulching, which you saw in the video. I forgot to mention that. We do have a little bit of a mulch pile out by the road, and I got mulch and put in that box, and it really just took 2 5-gallon buckets to do that bed. Really just 1.5. But anyway, so I'll do that right off the bat too, to try and keep down the weeds this year. I haven't been as diligent as I should be with doing that, so I will.
Hey Brad.
Hey Brad.
Brad Pope.
So anyway, we'll try and do a better job of mulching and everything, but it really does. It really is a lot easier, and it's easier on my back as far as.
It's easier on your back. I saw somebody had mentioned that.
Yeah, and I sit on the edge of my box. And then even if I do, I will kneel down. I got one of those little foam rubber knee pads that you put your knees on and everything. So I'll do that. And it's just easier to lean over in the boxes.
Yeah, and you can, you know, one of the things that drew us to the square foot gardening concept is that, you know, with a box no wider than 4 feet, you can reach, you know, over halfway from either side. Mm-hmm. And
well, especially me with my long arms.
Yeah, well, well, I mean, you'd have to have a shorter
person might could just go halfway.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd have to have Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. Even the T-Rex could reach halfway across. But you know, we've also learned. In fact, you may have heard us mention, I think as recently as last week or perhaps week before, one of the times when we were talking about this broccoli, is that as much drought as we've been in, as little rainfall as we've gotten, which 0 before this week.
Yeah.
the ground was still moist in those boxes.
Yeah, I had watered them one time.
She'd watered them one time a couple of months prior or something, or a month or something. I mean, it just...
Oh, no, it took 2 months for me to have to water
Yeah,
it.
it took two... okay, I knew there was
Yeah.
something about a couple of months.
Yeah.
So it held the moisture, and then also the soil never gets compacted.
Right.
Because you're not walking around it and all that kind of stuff. And so Patty mentioned about, well, for example, there was some ragweed that had grown up into one of the boxes out there. And Patty, her allergies were acting up. She asked me to go out there and get them out for her. And so I did. And they just came right up. I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's real easy to weed.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you I grabbed them with 2 fingers. That would have been silly.
But sometimes you can.
But you could have. Well, I'm just saying, I didn't go out there like this to pick them up.
I took pictures.
But I could have, because they came right up. And it's just amazing. So, you know, we're pleased with them. We'll probably put in some more raised beds.
Yeah, I have space on the end of those for one big one and maybe a small one. I've been wanting to do just like a 4x4 box that we're going to add sand to do carrots. Because carrots like a nice loose soil. And I don't just buy all my soil and put in my boxes when I make a new one. We till the ground, we rake it up into a pile, we build our box around it, and then we'll incorporate
amend it with
barnyard
stuff,
manure and
organic
dirt.
matter and things like that. Yeah.
So anyway, so it'll have some of our soil mixed in with it, which we're clay. We have a lot of clay.
Oh, we've got a huge clay content. So we've grown some cute little carrots that
they're edible.
They're edible, but
good.
a lot of times they'll be like that big around and that long, you know, and they just...
And it's not because of the variety.
They just taper. They're kind of shaped like a heart, not a human heart, but a Valentine heart, you know, and where they just come, or like a top that you spin, a top. And it's because they, you know, when they're trying to get through, and I know eventually, because of like the back to Eden principles and all that, eventually even the soil underneath is going to become more organic and loosen up. But it would be nice to go ahead and put some sand in a box and make it deeper to start with,
right.
And to give them kind of room to spread their legs, as it were. So.
I want to mention too, because we're talking about our feed sacks and using them as ground cover between our boxes. Poultry did mention that be aware of the fire ants who love the coverings on the ground, and that is so true.
Yeah.
I probably will go ahead and put out some diatomaceous earth up under it, and I noticed I have a few ant beds out there. One thing about ants that my sister Evie discovered staying up here at Mama. She comes and stays with her. Each one of my sisters take a turn each month. And anyway, that she goes and throws the coffee grounds outside, and she's been putting them on the ant beds. And she said, I don't know if it kills them or if they just don't like it, but the ant bed goes away. And she found it that it maybe had moved or whatever. And you know, I put my coffee grounds, I'll sprinkle them a lot of times out there in my boxes, and I really haven't had bad issues with ants. I've had a few, but
we really hadn't.
So I may just take our coffee grounds and sprinkle them.
You know what? We need to try that, because the empty box on the end that I pulled the ragweed out, there's an ant bed in it.
I saw that.
Sizable ant bed in it. So I'd be curious to do that.
Yeah, let's do that instead of doing the diatomaceous earth. Let's put that and see.
Yeah, just as a test.
Do an experiment.
We'll video it. We'll do a video experiment.
And Suburban Hillbilly also asked, did we process chickens this week?
We most certainly did.
Yes.
We don't have...
They're all dealt with. Well, they're not all dealt with.
We don't have as much... we just got some representative footage, and Facebook folks are looking at a picture of naked chickens right now. But we did. And, we didn't rush ourselves. We didn't force ourselves to get them all done in one day, and we just kind of, because it was just Patty and I, and normally we have at least one more, and sometimes we've had a couple of more, and so when it's just the two of us, we had to develop a system, and I think we got to where we were doing two it took like 10 minutes to do two, right?
10 to 15 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes to do two, and that's from catching them to being finished processing one. And so what what you're looking at now is the previous photo was just some of the ones that Patty had extra. We kept them in an ice chest in ice water for
about 4 days.
About 4 days. I let them age and tender up a little bit, and then Patty was very pleased with how little additional cleaning she had to do, because the process is you bring them in as a four at a time to the sink.
Yeah.
And re-clean them, and she commented several times that boy, we're getting better at this, because she didn't have to do very much additional cleaning. And so the last picture you saw was her. You showed them the bags. Last week.
We talked about last week.
It was last week. So we did shoot just a little brief video. Facebook folks, sorry about this. Click the YouTube link. You can go see this. You won't have time, I guess, but here's a little snapshot of us. I'm gonna let that replay because it didn't start right at the beginning. It's only 15 or 16 seconds, but it shows how neat those bags are that use heat to shrink up around that chicken carcass. There it goes. Watch that heat as it pushes the air out. It's got a little zip tie around the mouth of it, and once I'm satisfied that the air is out, you pull the zip tie tight, and look at that.
Looks like a store-bought chicken.
I mean, it's just it looks better than a store-bought chicken, but the packaging looks like that of a store-bought chicken. These things are remarkable. And
we love them. I'm going to try and experiment with some of them with vegetables, because I really think, especially if you've blanched your vegetables, that's in the water, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you're zipping it.
Yeah.
So that may have been counting a little too fast. So 7, 8 seconds, that's not going to hurt anything.
No, that's right.
Water.
And these bags.
What was it? 190 degrees.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. These bags, the instructions said to get the water at 190 degrees. And here I'll go with my memory again. I'm almost 100% positive that we got these bags from a different source than the last batch we have. I'm almost positive that the previous batch said 170 degrees. But
I ordered them from a different place this time.
I know you were reading. I just said that. But I can tell you this: it's difficult to maintain that temperature exactly, because those chickens are coming out. They're cold, and although we got pretty good at it. But Patty may not know this, but there were quite a number of those chickens bagged at 170 degrees. It worked. I mean, it just hot enough to do whatever it does to that bag to cause it to shrink up around and push the air out. And so it worked really well. Mm-hmm. And we made deliveries. We didn't have to take up freezer space for any length of time. We did. We put some in the freezer. Some we delivered that day or the next day.
Some that evening, huh?
Some that evening.
Yeah, that evening. So we still have 15 birds that are sold that we have to process, but y'all, we're only going to get to keep I think 8.
Yeah.
No.
If that.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I think 8 of the chickens. We're going to end up with, I think, 7. I've tried to count them out there. There's 18 or 19 left, and 15 of those are sold.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's a little over 10
to
keep.
The good news is we have other chickens that are slated for the freezer.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to. We told them about the Bielefelders and the Delaware. We haven't gotten to those yet. We went ahead and tried to go ahead and get our customers' chickens to them, because I like them to have them before Thanksgiving in case they want to have them for dinner.
And we're gonna do how many turkeys?
2 turkeys.
2 turkeys.
Thanksgiving and Christmas turkeys. And
we need to be thinking about doing
Saturday.
Yeah, like Saturday.
Yeah.
And so that'll be interesting, trying a turkey in the chicken plucker. It'll just be one at a time. We'll be able to go in there, but it ought to be fine. But so anyway, we had very productive processing time. So y'all have heard me mention. Any questions about that before I move on?
Well, I did want to mention, too, that we did have Corey help us Saturday afternoon.
That's exactly
Saturday
right.
Morning.
We did.
He
Saturday
helped us
morning.
Saturday morning.
That's right. So. He did. And so we did, 50 in 2 days, roughly? Just round ballpark.
I guess.
Roughly 50, maybe just shy of 50.
Yeah, it was a little less than 50. I think I counted 40. I think it was 40.
And that we didn't work all
No, it was
day.
more
I mean,
than
we had
that.
other things to do, and like I said, we just kind of took a leisurely pace. We stopped at
Yeah.
lunch and took a break. One day, that break took the form of a nap, even, right? And but we didn't even start back, did we?
No,
after that?
our plan was to start back.
That's right. Our
And what
plan was to start back, and we just decided to take a nap instead.
What was so funny? I rested.
It was a good nap.
What was so funny though is Tommy and I worked on some Friday, and what we thought we had done. How many did we think we did? Did we think we did 20? Did we think we did 10? I can't even remember.
20.
It's all running together.
20.
Anyway, we actually did 22, and so I was pleasantly surprised about that. And then when Corey was helping us Saturday morning, then he had to go to work by noon, and so we took a little break and had lunch and went back at it, and we ended up getting, I think, 20. I don't know now. I've lost count.
I don't know. I don't do
think
math.
I think we did a total of like 25 or 30 that day.
We had outdone
no, it was
ourselves.
like 20. Yeah, each time it was more than what we thought we had done. So I was very excited about that. So
Yeah.
it was
All right.
nice.
There's some YouTube comments, and I've got our buddy Brad Pope is joined us on Facebook, and he commented that the best tomato crop he's had was in 5-gallon buckets with rocks in the bottom and loose medium soil on top with holes drilled at the rock line. Interesting. PVC pipe was ran to the bottom of the bucket, filled with water until it ran out of the holes.
Oh.
Bottom watering worked great for us. We live in a clay area. Sally and I are going to try that square foot gardening.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
good.
idea.
I like that.
But that's one of the issues with the tomato plants that I've replanted in the pots out there is that I feel like the soils are being waterlogged right now. They're not growing like the tomatoes in the beds are, and I feel like that's the problem.
Yeah, probably
Is
so.
that they're waterlogged. So if I had those rocks in the bottom and the drain holes like that, that would help it tremendously.
Yep.
Let's see. The question is if you have a high clay content, what's the best way to get the ground really plantable? Well, from my experience and from what I have seen in different types of soil and everything, the best thing to do is to use mulch covering, leaf covering like that, and let that decompose on your ground, and that is going to really turn your clay into really workable soil.
Yeah. So
And you're not going to be tilling that up if you can just let that sit there. You know, dig through it, plant in the soil, in the clay, in the dirt. Of course, you would want to do some manure or something like that. But
now there's some fancy schmancy modern agricultural technology you may be able to employ. However, that's exactly what I was going to recommend. You know, you cover it with organic matter and mulch and let God do it, and it'll just happen. Now the bad news is you got to wait.
Right.
But you can actually, you know, if you've got a clay base and you have the opportunity and the means, you can, like especially in a box area, you can not short circuit, but shorten the time if you can build it up with compost and organic material and mulch or whatever, and you can plant in that. Mm-hmm. And otherwise you got to wait, you know, because it's a process that takes time, but you'll see improvement in the first year.
Yeah. Well, and two, whenever you say you plant like you normally plant, and then you come in and put your mulch covering over it, what's going to happen is that's going to start amending your soil right then, and then it's also going to protect your soil, because when we keep plowing and plowing and plowing, it makes it nice and aerated, but then it's going to compress down. And so by putting that covering on, and then the next year when you get ready to plant, you're just going to want to pull back your covering, make your trench, plant your seeds, or plant your plants in there. And look, go take a walk in the woods and just look and see and dig down a little bit and see what's there. That's what you want in your garden.
That's what you want in your garden. It's amazing.
It's sticks, it's leaves. You know,
yeah, and
it's
in fact I started to do this and do a video on it and just didn't. But prior to when we got our rain last week, I meant to go out in our woods and dig down and do a video on it and show you how moist that ground still is under that mulch cover that's been in out there in the woods for so long, undisturbed. God knows what He's doing. He's been God a long time, and He's good at it. And it's all about the covering. So Tina asked if those were Rangers or Cornish, and these are Freedom Rangers. And we again, correct me if I'm wrong. We had something happen this time that I don't think I've ever seen happen. Is that one of the reasons, not just because we didn't want to do them all at once, one of the reasons why there's still 15 out there is because they didn't all grow uniformly. We had some that were considerably bigger. You had carcass weights. Do you remember? I'm putting you on the spot. You had carcass weights, even from the ones we did butcher, and I may have made the mistake of grabbing some of the smaller ones, but you had carcass weights that ranged from what? Do you remember?
Yeah, the biggest one would have been about 5.5 pounds, and that was the norm last year. I was freaked out because, they were so big last year. These grew the same amount of time. I had some that were not even 3 pounds, or right at 3 pounds.
Right at 3 pounds. Right
Just
at 3
a couple.
Pounds.
When he first started grabbing, because I told him grab a rooster and a hen, because I didn't want to kill all the roosters and not the hens. I wanted to have a variety. But then after that, I said, quit. Just grab the biggest ones, And so I had a lot of them that was just 4-pounders. So
yeah. Now I looked at them good today. And most of them, I think, because you had mentioned, we ought to do some, and I'm like, no, they're not ready. And but I looked at them today, and most of them look like they're ready.
They're ready, good.
But do you know there's still a couple?
I know that little light colored one.
Well, that's not the one I was talking about. There's a darker color one too. The darker color one that I got in my mind is the smallest one of the bunch.
Wow.
She may be a midget or something.
Maybe so.
I don't know, but. She's tiny, especially. She may not be as tiny as I think. The others just may be catching up faster than her. But I don't remember that happening. Right?
Look who's here.
Oh my goodness! Looks like hey Sonia, talking to our Facebook friends. A high school. I didn't mean to say old Sonia.
Oh, you want me hitting for you?
A young high school classmate and.
And I have an old classmate.
Yeah, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
The big show. Steve Shelton, everybody, is in the house on Facebook. But anyway, so I know the chat has been lit up over here, and I'm sure there's Cheryl Dugas. Hey, Cheryl.
How's the pigs? Yankee, that is dressed weight. That is completely, I have brought, and look, that's my little, I brought my little kitchen scale out there, which is not,
Not the certified scale.
Yeah, not certified. But anyway, when I was weighing them up, because we have to put the little stickers on there with their weight and everything.
With our certified scale.
Yeah, with our certified scale. And yes, that was the correct, that close enough. I just wanted an idea out there. And, but yeah, I'm very disappointed. And we're going to try, and do Cornish again.
Yeah,
we are. Tommy had put his foot down a while back and said we are never doing those kind again because we had a batch that it was just really bad, and part of it was probably our fault. We probably didn't restrict the feed like we should have. But I talked to Jana at AldermanFarms, and they just did some. I think it was this year, if I'm not mistaken. And Jana, correct, and put on the chat the numbers you got, because I think she said that they got 51 chicks and only lost one, and so that's a great well, we didn't. That's success, with the Cornish, and so I mean we may try,
we are. I'm ready. The first batch, the first time we dealt with them, number one, we didn't know what we were doing. We had no idea about free range and that kind of thing.
Right, that's true.
So that's one thing, we didn't know what we were doing. And the second thing is we got those from LSU. They came from a university setting.
Those are actually, that's the first ones we did. Those did good. It was when we lived here. When we lived here, we had some. That's when you said, no, we're
Now,
never
see,
doing those again.
there goes, talk about my memory. There you go. I don't have any memory at all of having Cornish hens here, Cornish rock.
Yeah,
here.
we had them in the, remember the brooder box that you had made that was up off the ground?
Yes, I do. That
remember that?
helped me remember. See, now, that's what I do. I conflate memories. I was
You just
thinking
mix
that
them
was
together.
in Louisiana, that those, they just outgrew themselves. They
Yeah.
outgrew their body's ability to hold them up, and it was heartbreaking.
Hey, Wanda and Danny.
And these big old fat things just laying around like,
yeah.
feed me. They all looked like Jabba the Hutt with white feathers. It was awful.
Hey,
But,
Cheryl says the pigs are great, and she's loving my pigs. She's loving my pigs. Yay. I'm so
Yay.
glad. I'm so glad.
on Facebook, Steve Shelton said we need to do a couple of beef calves.
He
Well,
has been on me.
yeah, but that ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you, that ain't gonna happen until rain comes and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we ain't got nowhere to put them.
Well, Steve, we need somebody to plant grass for us.
Yeah, you come up here. Well, it ain't gonna make no sense planting grass right now. But
And water. You have to bring a water tank,
yeah, you have to
Steve.
bring a water
Oh,
tank.
he could bring a fire truck with him.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
He
right.
could water from the road right there.
That's exactly right. Bring your fire truck up here and
Yeah, as soon as you get the fire truck up to water the grass seed.
yeah.
No,
Yeah, we're-
he's been on me for years to do that, the beef cow.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Sally on Facebook. All right, what
Sally.
else is happening over here on YouTube? Gosh, it is 5:42
I know.
already.
You better look and see if there's any
Yeah,
videos.
well,
He told me, he said, we've got more videos to show.
Well, it's not all that many. I don't know if we
They've seen the peppers.
Did
I
we
think.
show them the peppers?
Yeah,
Y'all
they've
just
seen-
look at that.
They've seen the peppers, but isn't
Is
that a
that not
blessing?
pretty? I mean, that just looks like Christmas. Facebook folks, I think I put this photo on the Facebook
Yeah, I think
page
you did.
with the peppers. I just wanted to throw that. Now, also, YouTube friends,
Yeah.
you have heard us mention Tommy Nettles, our across the street neighbor.
Oh, you
who,
showed him the picture of the tree too.
Who, yeah, I did. Who is the best neighbor in the universe. You wonder why I say that? Here's one example.
That's the giant tree we
That's
showed
that
you
giant
last
tree
week.
that, and yep, that's the bucket of my tractor, and it's not extended as high as it can go. But Tommy came over, and we spent all of Monday back there cutting that tree up, and we had a few hairy moments. I'd rather not go into that because Patty don't know about most of them.
No,
but,
I didn't even go back there.
oh no, she couldn't have been back there.
No.
She couldn't have stood it.
No.
And I thought about video, and in fact told Tommy I was, but I'm glad I didn't even attempt it.
He was a nervous wreck. I can't imagine.
Oh yeah,
how
I was a
would have
nervous
been.
wreck. My knees were weak. This is actually not one of the times when I was nervous.
No, that don't make me nervous looking at that picture.
But you got to do what you got to do, right? And so we did that, and let me see. Let me find my. I'll show you in a minute.
Oh.
Yeah. And so here, Facebook folks, you haven't seen this. I'm just showing what we did, what we got cut up and drug up to sort of a central bunching ground. We couldn't, and then now I got to decide what I want to do with it. Do I want to try to drag these monsters? I can't drag them. I'll have to cut them in this way. The video does not do justice to how huge these trunks are. And they're massive. I've got my tractor's 35 horse, so it's not a monster. Tommy's, I think, is a 35 horse, maybe 40. And for some of these pieces, he had to attach his tractor to mine. And of course, we had to come up a steep embankment to get them to where they needed to be. And I can't drag those all the way home. There's too much on flat ground. I probably could. That'll give you an idea about how that, there's Corey, the baby boy. He was out planking a couple of squirrels. And like I said, he's 6'2". And, so that thing's higher than his knees. And he's going to walk over by that other big piece just to give you an idea how big that thing is. I mean, look, up to his waist. And so we have got some firewood. Somebody guesstimated, I think last week on the YouTube show, that it probably three plus cords of wood. And I think somebody agreed with that estimation when I put some of the photos are on Facebook. And so it's a bunch. But what I'm thinking about doing is my wood splitter has got a tongue on it. I may hook it up to the Polaris, bring the wood splitter over there.
Yeah, that's a
First
good
thing
idea.
got to do is fix my chainsaw. I need a new bar on my chainsaw. It's boogered up. I'll hopefully get that tomorrow. And then just go ahead and cut it into the sizes we need. And I might split it up over there.
I think that's a good idea. We can put it on the trailer and just haul it back.
And just haul it back that way. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And before we get through,
I'll help you do it.
you will?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I like working that splitter thing.
Oh yeah, that's good. So our critters were happy to see me coming home with this. I've been having difficulty. My normal old family friend, who's not very far from here, is my normal hay connection, and I hadn't been able to get in touch with him. And so we were looking for hay. I figured I was going to be paying just out of the nose for hay, and we found some higher than blah blah blah. But I found this guy, and I'm hesitant to say how much he sold this for because I don't want nobody else to call him.
That's not nice.
No, $30 a bale for this. It's Bahia. Now this was kept outside. He had some that he stored in the barn that he was charging $40 for, and but the critters were happy. You can see on that facing side of that hay bale that we put out. I got 4 of them, and they've already starting to chew it, and it's marvelous. I've never dealt with any that's wrapped by that plastic stuff. But it's so tightly wound, and it's not falling apart.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And Big Boy coming to check out me, see what I'm doing there with that camera. And
he thought he had feed.
Yeah, he wanted to tell everybody, hey, so I videoed him just a little bit more. But but here's a video of Honey and Henry. It looks like my CPU usage is up to 100%, so that video is going to probably be choppy for a minute. But Honey and Henry were diving into it just a few minutes later this afternoon when I went out there to film it. And so I was very happy to get that. And
yes, I really thought we were going to have a hard time. And what you called, this was the third person you called and got hay.
Yeah, third person I called.
So.
And it couldn't be nicer. I may actually go up there and get some more this
Yeah.
coming I don't know if anybody's familiar with cattle, but I know you can kind of see the honeybee's rib lines there, and sometimes we've caught in grief about being able to see Honey's ribs. I got news for you. That's a Jersey cow. She is a dairy cow, and she is fat compared to what most Jerseys look like. In fact, I dare you to go to Google and Google prize-winning Jersey dairy cows, not bulls, but cows, and compare those to ours, and you can tell ours is fat, and dairy cows are skinnier. They don't have a whole lot of fat. So,
hey, Brenda Collins asked, did the CST come with the hay? Is that what that ring is called?
I don't know. What you talking about?
Is that red ring thing? We call it a hay ring.
Yeah.
I don't.
CST. I don't know what that means. I don't know what CST is. Somebody tell me. Steve Shelton said he'd barter splitting wood for victuals. Hey, that might work.
Yeah. Come on, Steve.
Come on, Steve. I don't know.
I
That's
got
a
lots
big
of
joke.
victuals.
I don't know, Steve.
We'll kill some of them pigs.
Yeah.
Steve, you need some pigs. You haven't been seeing us talk about. We have got a lot of pigs.
A lot of pigs.
Whole lot of pigs.
A whole lot.
And I know we would probably give one. We'd give one to his fire station.
Yeah.
He needs to come up here. You need to come up here,
Steve, you come up here, we will butcher a pig, and I will donate it to your fire station.
Yes, we sure will.
How about that?
And you can cook it for him.
And you can cook it for them. How about that? Is that a deal? All right, let's see. Patty, you look over the comments. I think that's all the video that I have.
I think we got everything.
Oh, I did want to show them this one more time.
Oh.
I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, cat. Oh, there must have been she meant to say cat,
oh, cat.
not CST.
Oh, I forgot about the cat.
I didn't see the cat.
There's a cat on top of the hay bales.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay. I didn't see it. No, we have our own. We don't need any more.
Yeah, Facebook fans, I'm showing everybody. They're seeing a picture of Duke in the Polaris. If you follow us on Instagram or on Facebook, you've already seen this. Our giant 100-something pound Anatolian. I go out to the barn and when I feed in the morning and in the evenings, and I back the Polaris up because some of the animals are away from there, and I put the feed in the Polaris and go drive away. So I'm coming out of the barn to get in the Polaris, and I look up and there's Duke, just like saying, "Hey, Daddy, can I drive?" You know, so he's so fine. He's such a fine dog. But anyway, Patty, while you look through the comments, let me do my due diligence that we've forgotten to do.
Oh yeah, you
saying
better do
that we're you're watching us on YouTube as part of the Homestead Network. I know We Tree will be faithful to put this link, thehomesteadnetwork.com/showtimes. Or you can just go to thehomesteadnetwork.com and click on Showtimes. And there is a schedule for the entire week. I don't think we have somebody on every day of the week, but there's a whole weekly schedule there. And there are shows from the Homestead Network members at various times. We've got some folks that come on sometime in the morning, midday, some of them. We've got some folks that do various shows throughout the week. They'll have, for example, Big Family Homestead, who comes on right after this. They also do a daily, it's a type of devotional kind of little Bible study in the morning. Go for Green Living, who I've seen in the chat. Hey, Go for Green Living has been doing an awesome aquaponics on a budget kind of tutorial thing in the mornings, and then they've got their weekly live show. So right after us today is Big Family Homestead on YouTube. And then, unless something has changed, then Tommy at Off Grid Nation after that, followed up by Jared and Jennifer over at J&J Acres. And so you can get your homesteading fix right on YouTube by going to thehomesteadnetwork.com. And on that list of showtimes, each of those shows that's listed is hyperlinked. It'll take you right to their channel.
That's right. That's right.
So
Steve answered you.
Oh, let's see. Man, I didn't know that. Big Dog done got promoted. He's not at a fire station. He's at headquarters.
Well, he's even got more people to cook
He's
for.
a safety officer citywide. Yeah, but you
he
can't.
Needs more pigs.
You don't need to be dragging a hog up to the headquarters. Probably they wouldn't know what to do with it. All them administrative people.
That's true.
Oh well. Anyway, the offer stands, Steve. If you can make it work somehow. Just let us know when it's yours. All right.
Yes, we got plenty of pork.
Yeah, plenty of pork, lots. So we've only got like 7 minutes left. Patty, catch us up on some comments maybe or questions coming from.
I think we've covered everything, Tommy, as they come about. But I wanted to tell them what the new thing is that I'm looking into.
Oh, before you tell them about the new thing you're looking into, tell them about the thing coming up right around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
That,
I had mentioned that already, that we had a farmer's market meeting, and we're going to be having a Thanksgiving market, just a one-day market, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And actually, if there's any farmers in our area, we are looking for other farmers, not craft people. We don't do crafts at our farmer's market, but farmers that have any produce to sell. At our farmers market. It looks like it's going to be a nice one. We're going to have a beautiful day, so it's going to be the 22nd. So We're getting geared up for that. I've got to get my sourdough starter going, and where I can have my bread ready and my cinnamon rolls, and I'm going to do the video on cinnamon rolls when I do them for the farmers market. Yeah. I promise. Well,
I still got videos to edit. And
yeah, We Tree said light your fire.
I'm not going to. Yeah. Speaking of fires.
Yeah.
We might need a fire tonight. You think?
I think so.
We might need a fire up the wood stove.
How did Texas know?
How did you know that? I didn't tell them. Oh well, hurry up. You've only got a couple minutes to talk about.
It's the tips. Edward said he loves our tips. Do we need to make more tips?
Got one coming out in the morning.
Ideas.
Then we need to make some.
I need ideas for tips, so send them to.
For the quick tips videos
quick
that we do on most Mondays.
Yes, send me ideas. Yes, it is quail that I'm looking into. I'm excited about that. A friend of ours, Joelle, came and got her chickens, and Steve, that's our Joelle we went to school with. Anyway, the other day, and she said she would love to be able to get quails from us. She has to order them off the internet. So anyway, so I'm looking into that, not just because Joelle wants it, but because
we've actually kicked it around
many times.
Many times,
you know.
yeah.
So it
as
looks like,
they say in the South, we've threatened to do it a number of times.
Yeah. So I really think maybe come spring, maybe that'll.
You know what I'm still thinking about?
Pigeons.
Pigeons.
I don't think I want to do pigeons.
I don't know if I could. You know, I mean, you eat them as babies, and although they're the ugliest babies you ever looked at in your life, if you ain't never seen a picture of a baby pigeon, it is nothing. It's a face only a mother could love. But you know, you do some research on the nutritional quality of squab, which is what you call the young pigeon meat, and it's like it's not off the charts, but it's like higher in everything. It's like higher in all the good stuff, and I just don't know if I could do it. I'm a softie, you know, and even though they're ugly, it'd be like putting them out of misery, but kind of. But they, you know, I mean, I don't know. It'd be tough, but I don't know. I've thought about it. But, yeah, we've kicked it around. We kicked around the quail, and so we, you know, Patty's kind of on it hot and heavy, so that probably means we're going to do it.
Probably so.
Yeah, probably so. So, let's see. We are down to our final 4 minutes. Yeah, Tina wants to know if we can get a farm grant for the high tunnel. Well, you know, we've
tried.
You know that we've got, you've seen our video, I guess, about the fencing that we got through the NRCS, the Natural Resource Conservation Service. And that was a grant that we got through them. And also through them, we applied for a high tunnel. But apparently, everybody else and their brother also applied for it in our region, or however they divide that up. And we didn't make the cut this last cycle, but we intend on, our application stays active.
Yeah.
And so the next time money comes around, hopefully we'll get in on that.
And you know, that's one reason I'm really excited about working with Mr. Jesse at Old Brook Organics, is that he already has a high tunnel, so I can get some experience with dealing with a high tunnel and, you know, stuff like that. So we've had some different classes. I have, I don't know if you took any of those classes at the
No, I think
meeting.
that's where we had to divide and conquer and go to different classes.
I mean, I think it'll be really cool to have one. Let's see.
Wow, Cajun Homestead worked at a game bird farm for
Yeah.
years as a kid.
Yankee want to know, how much room do we give our rock crosses? You know,
We don't have any yet.
you know, when we did them a long time ago, I know we kept them in a cage at one time.
Yeah.
We didn't have many. I don't know where
that's
we got
before
those.
that's before we got saved. We didn't, you know.
Well, we didn't. I just don't. I really don't remember.
I don't remember.
I just don't remember that.
It's been
part.
so long ago. Yeah, like if it's
Right.
day before yesterday, you can forget it. But yeah. So, but you
And
know,
Texas says thing about dove and quail.
never thought about dove. I don't know. The thing I'm concerned about is with the quail is having to process them little suckers, because
Yeah.
you know, I told Patty, I said, boy, we can put a 5-gallon bucket of them in the chicken plugger. And she said, no, you
don't think
can't put them in there because they're too small and it'll tear them to pieces. And so I said, man, you mean we got to process each one of them? Well, no wonder they go. What, you found them on the internet for how much?
Well, I think it was like $4.50 a piece, something like that.
No, I thought it was like that's
Yeah,
right.
it's like 18.
It was 18 something for almost $20 for 4 of them.
Yeah.
Processed, you know, and so.
Oh, that's one thing I wanted to mention about. We were down to 1 minute though. The processing of the chickens, it wasn't all just over when we got through getting them in the ice chest and bagging them. Then I had to deal with all the innards and all that stuff, and so I was so glad to get all my stuff in the freezer. Day before yesterday. So
Daniel at Go for Green said he can teach us everything we need to know about greenhouse growing. We may take you up on that, but we don't have time today. So
Yes.
Facebook, we'll stick around another minute to say goodbye to you. YouTube, see you. Get out of here. Go to Big Family Homestead.
Yes.
And
Thank y'all so much for watching.
remember, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. See you next